But I'll tell you that lawyer and civil rights activist Kayode Ajulo has faulted President Bola Tinubu's intervention in the political logjam that has been rocking Ondo State. Ajulo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, noted that the constitutional provisions relating to the matter must be adhered to in order to fully restore governance in the state. Although the Deputy Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, presided over the State Executive Council meeting on Thursday, Speaker of the State Assembly, Olamide Oladiji, had disclosed that as part of the resolutions reached at the meeting with Tinubu, Aiyedatiwa was asked to write an undated resignation letter, and that should be submitted to the president. According to the speaker, no resolution was reached to make Aiyedatiwa acting governor. Commenting further, Ajulo frowned at the setting up of a tripartite committee to administer the affairs of the state and enforce the resolutions reached, describing the process as unconstitutional. According to him, if it is proved that Akeredolu has been incapacitated, Aiyedatiwa should be sworn in as the acting governor without hesitation. Joining us on the news to further discuss this is Taiwo Ojumu, a lawyer and a political analyst. It's nice to have you around.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Now, I just ruled out what a fellow lawyer like yourself, Kayode Ajulo, said. He was actually labeling the intervention of President Bola Tinubu in the Ondo State leadership crisis as unconstitutional. How would you react to his stance?
Right, thank you. Why I agree largely with the opinion of the latest Sikh, Kayode Ajulo, on the matter in question. I also would look at it from another hand. There are always two sides to a coin, and as much as possible, I like to look at issues from different angles. Now, there are different standpoints. If you decide to approach the issue from strictly a political standpoint, one would argue that the intervention of Mr. President was timely and that it had, in one way or the other, averted what could have been a crisis, a major crisis in the state. That is the political standpoint. But if then again you decide to look at it from the constitutional or from the legal point of view, then you will have no option than to agree with Lekan Sikh Ajulo on the matter. And of course, the question that should come to mind naturally would be that when there's a clash between politics and law, what should prevail? Of course, your guess is as good as mine. The law will always prevail because the Constitution is supreme. So it should prevail, ordinarily, yes.
So let's now quickly talk about the undated resignation letter that the president asked for, that the deputy governor should actually sign and submit to him. Now, as confirmed by the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, we understand that some groups are actually agitated about that particular move or request by the president. Now, the letter might be activated if Aiyedatiwa contravenes any of the resolutions reached in the peace meeting. So is that undated letter to be submitted to the president a kind of noose that might be hanged around Lucky Aiyedatiwa's neck if in any way he violates the stance of the committee or the group that was actually set up to administer over the affairs of the country, or the group that probably might want to have a political stand and say in the states?
Well, you are very correct. The thing is, it has been more or less an allegation. I mean, nobody's certain beyond what the speaker said. Like I said in my last interview here, I said that it's not very good for our constitution for that kind of arrangement to happen. Arrangement where the deputy governor will be asked to write an undated letter, and then such letter can be activated in the event of him reneging from the resolutions reached in Abuja. That position is, that is not, it's very much unconstitutional, and I actually agree. But again, in politics, these things happen all the time. This is not the first time we will see similar situations. That's happened severally right from the beginning of the return of democracy in 1999. We have seen instances of executive, maybe a governor in some instances being asked to sign such a letter and undate the letter, so that this usually is done sometimes to cut or to checkmate the excesses of such a person. In Ondo State, for instance, there are so many factors that are at play. So some have argued that deputy governor was more or less a nobody. He was just brought to be the deputy governor. To be the running mate for Governor Akeredolu, considering what happened in the first tenure of governor when he had a similar issue with the then deputy Honorable Bola. And so that this man was just brought in because it seemed as though at that point that he was not that ambitious. And so some people who are very much interested in succeeding Mr. Governor are now part of those who are waging this kind of war, causing what we now know today as crisis in the state. But like I said, it's very much unconstitutional to ask anybody at that to sign an undated letter of resignation that might be activated. It is not, that should not have a place in a democracy.
Well, that's quite interesting, Taiwo, Ojumu, to have a certain set of people within the political class who are actually bothered or not too in tune, or would I say not confident about the political pedigree of a sitting deputy governor. But then, of course, we understand that the Constitution should reign supreme because that is the law. Now, of course, you're a legal luminary. Would you advise the deputy governor to take this matter to court, because it shows that they are not in support of his ability to administer over the affairs of Ondo State? When you have a tripartite committee that is meant to govern a state whereby you have a constitutionally elected deputy governor. So would you advise him to take this matter to court to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he has the mettle and the quality to lead in the absence of a governor who is not, should I say, capacitated enough to rule over Ondo State?
Well, yes, the thing is, like we always say, the judiciary or the courts, as we normally say, it's the hope of, it's the last hope of the common man. And so in instances like this, of course, the deputy governor is well within the right of the deputy governor to approach the court. But then again, it is also said that the party is also supreme. The party is supreme. And that decisions reached by the party should be adhered to. Mr. President, being the leader of the ruling party, has tried to wade in his own way. Even though it has been argued that the resolution reached was not, or is not constitutional, but I do not envy the deputy governor, right now, because for somebody that has a political ambition, he would need the endorsements of some sorts of Mr. President and the APC as a whole moving forward. And so he's caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. If he decides to approach the court, that might have some implications for him, for his political ambition to become the next governor. And then one can also say that he just sit back and allow his rights, his constitutional right to be trampled upon. But like I said, I do not envy him at the moment. So the matter is dicey. But like I said, again, the courts, the judiciary, the last common man. So he may have to resort to that in the very end.
Two things before I let you go, Ojumu. Now, we understand that, of course, it was actually raised by Ajulo anyway, that there is no move to present next year's appropriation bill to the House of Assembly. Would that in any way affect the livelihood of the citizens? And of course, would it also affect the budget for the state in terms of performance and funds to be allocated to the sectors within the state? And the other side is, where is actually the governor?
Okay, last time we checked, or let's say last time I checked, the governor was in Ibadan. It was in Ibadan, the capital city of Oyo State. And then the argument, I've said this before, and I'll say this again now. The argument has been that it cannot be that Mr. Governor, that is Akeredolu, cannot be described, that it is harsh to describe his health situation as incapacitation, as as emphasized by the Constitution, by Section 189 of the Constitution, that the man is still in some ways discharging some of the duties of his office. For instance, I've said this, and I will say for the opting time that we understand that files are still being approved on a daily basis. That usually what they do is they carry these files to Ibadan, where he approves those files, signs documents, and so that has been the contention of the Akeredolu faction. They have a firm opinion that this man is still very much active. The fact that it's not governing from the state, which is a different issue entirely now, because whether a governor, whether it's even constitutional for a governor who is elected in a state to be governing from another state, that is a different issue entirely. But the argument of those faction of Mr. Governor is that Mr. Governor is not necessarily incapacitated because he's still discharging some part of it.
Yes, which would actually mean that whatever it is that will happen in terms of appropriation bill presentation will definitely go on, and we'll also have a budget cycle run in the state. Thank you so much, Mr. Ojumu. That is Taiwo Ojumu, a lawyer and a political analyst. Thank you so much for your time on the news.
Thank you for having me once again. Thank you very much. Yeah.